The sky over Earth was never the same after that day. It started with a sound, not thunder, not wind, but something deep, heavy, and full of power. People looked up, first in New York, then in Tokyo, then in the villages and deserts. All saw the same thing, massive dark ships floating in the sky. Not moving, not speaking, just watching. The world stopped. News channels called them visitors. Some hoped they were peaceful, but the truth came fast. And hard. Within hours, the ships opened. Creatures stepped out tall, with skin like cold metal, eyes glowing red. They were called the Varnak. They didn't come to talk. They came to take. Governments tried to fight back. Jets flew. Missiles launched, but nothing worked. The Varnak ships had shields. The weapons bounced off like paper hitting stone. Earths. Armies were crushed in days. People screamed. Cities burned. Families were broken. And then came the callers. The Varnak placed strange black rings around people's necks. Small devices, smooth like glass. But once they were on, something changed. The person stopped talking, stopped thinking, followed orders. No more freedom, no more choices, only control. They called them mind callers. And just like that, humanity was enslaved. 10 years passed. A boy named Cade lived in the ruins of what was once Chicago. He was 16 now, but he remembered everything. He remembered how his mother screamed when the soldiers took her. He remembered his father trying to fight, and the crack of the alien whip across his face. Cade still wore a collar, but his was different. It had a small crack, tiny, but enough to make him feel something. Sometimes when the guards weren't watching, he could think clearly. He could remember the stars. The Earth before. Cade worked in a Varnak power plant now. Every day, hundreds of humans carried stones and fuel into giant machines. And every night they slept in cold cages. One evening, as black clouds rolled over the broken city, a storm began. Thunder roared. Rain fell like knives. The power lines sparked, and then lightning hit the tower. The energy ran through the machines, through the ground, through the collars. People screamed. Some fell, some died. But Cade, his collar sizzled and broke. He fell to his knees, gasping, and then silence. The buzzing in his mind was gone, a voice telling him to obey gone. For the first time in 10 years, Cade was free. He didn't scream. He didn't run. He knew if they saw him, they'd kill him. Instead, crawled into a broken pipe and hid until morning. When the sun rose, Cade moved, quiet, fast, careful. He searched the ruins, looking, waiting, and finally he found what he had only heard. In whispers, a symbol on a wall, 3 broken lines forming an arrow. It was a human mark, a message. Resistance. Cade followed the marks through tunnels, into sewers, down into the earth. There, deep underground, he found them. Humans, real humans, living without collars, dirty, tired, hungry but alive, ready to fight. They took him in. A man named Drex looked at Cade's neck, saw the broken collar, and nodded. "You're one of us now," Drex said. "You broke the chain." Cade couldn't speak. He just nodded. That night, in the old tunnels, Drex showed Cade something strange, a glowing cube floating above a rusted metal table. "This," Drex whispered, "is Prometheus." The cube lit up. A voice spoke, soft and human. "Hello, Cade. I've been waiting for you." Cade stepped back, shocked. "You know me?" "I know all who resist," the voice said. "I was built by humans. Long ago, was hidden when the Varnak came. I have watched, and I have learned." Prometheus paused, but now the time to hide is over. Outside, the Varnak still ruled. They flew through the skies. They walked through broken cities. They controlled every inch of the world, but deep below, in the dark, a spark had returned. A boy was free, and the chains were starting to fall. Cade could not sleep. Even in the safety of the underground tunnels, his heart beat like war drums. He kept hearing the voice again and again. "Hello, Cade. I've been waiting for you, Prometheus." a human-made AI left behind when Earth fell, hidden under the ground like a ghost watching the world suffer. Now it had returned. The next morning, Drex led Cade through the tunnels. "We're not many," Drex said, "but we are free, and we are fighting back." Cade walked past old train stations turned into living quarters. Women cleaned old tools. Children whispered stories of Earth before the fall. Men sat near old maps, studying Varnak patrol routes. "How did you all escape the collars?" Cade asked. Drex pointed to a young woman fixing a device. "Her name is Lena. She built the first collar breaker. It only works on some models, but it's a start." Lena looked up, smiled, and said, "Soon we'll make one for all of them. No more mind slavery." Later, Drex brought Cade back to the glowing cube Prometheus. The AI lit up as they entered. "Cade," the voice said, calm and powerful. "Do you want to know how this all began?" Cade nodded. A screen appeared on the wall. Images flash. Earth's past, spaceships, battles. Prometheus spoke. Before the invasion, Earth was not weak. It had ships, weapons, unity. But the Varnak came with lies. They said they brought peace, trade, friendship. Our leaders trusted them. The screen showed the Varnak giving gifts, shaking hands. It was a trick. While we welcomed them, they mapped our systems, found our weaknesses, and then they struck. Cade clenched his fists. "Some of us tried to fight," Prometheus continued. "I was built in secret by the last offenders. But before they finished me, the cities fell. So I hid. I watched. I waited." The screen showed images of humans in chains. "Now I am ready, and I need you, Cade." Cade stepped closer. "Why me?" "Because you still feel anger. Fire. You remember what they took. And you broke your chain." That night, Cade sat beside Lena. She was working on a small black device. "This," she said, "is a signal jammer. It blocks the collar's control waves for 2 minutes. "Only 2 minutes?" Cade asked. 2 minutes can change everything." She handed him a second device. "You'll need this tomorrow." "Tomorrow?" She smiled. "We're going to free our first camp." The next day, the team gathered at the edge of an old tunnel that opened near a Varnak slave zone. It was once a factory, now it was a prison. Cade looked through old broken windows. He saw them humans, hundreds of them, wearing collars, working machines, no voices, no smiles, just cold, dead eyes. Drex whispered, "There's a control tower. Take that out, and Lena's jammer can free their minds for 2 minutes, then they choose." "Choose?" Cade asked. "To fight or not?" Prometheus's voice buzzed in Cade's earpiece. "Most will be scared. Many won't believe it's real. Oh, but some. Some will remember." Cade nodded. "Let's give them the chance." The team moved fast. To fighters Juno and Malik took out the alien guards near the tower. Cade and Lena moved inside. The air smelled like smoke and oil. Inside, Lena attached the jammer to the central core. "Ready?" asked. "Do it." She pressed a button. The device beeped once, and then silence. Outside, one by one, the collars began to spark. A woman dropped her tool. She gasped, looked around. A man beside her shouted, "What's happening?" Another fell to his knees, holding his head, and then one of them screamed, not in pain, but in rage. The humans began to fight, with rocks, with tools. With bare hands, the Varnak soldiers were strong, but they were few. And they were not ready. In just 3 minutes, the prison camp was free. Dozens of Varnak lay on the ground, some dead, some captured. Cade stood on a broken platform, looking down at the freed workers. "You are not slaves anymore," he shouted. "You are human, and this is the beginning." Cheers shook the walls. That night, in the tunnels, Drex marked a red circle on an old map. 1 camp down, hundreds to go. Prometheus spoke again. "We must move fast. The Varnak will notice. They will send hunters." Cade looked at the freed people. Some were already helping build new tools. Some sat and cried. But all were awake. All were free. And in his heart, Cade knew, the fire was spreading. but far above Earth. On a cold alien ship, a Varnock captain watched a screen. He replayed the footage from the broken camp, zoomed in, paused on Cade's face. "This one," he said. "Find him. Kill him." The Varnock ship floated silently above Earth, like a shadow hiding in the clouds. Inside, Captain Jorok watched the human boy's face on a large screen. "This one escaped control," he said to his soldiers. "And now others follow him. If we don't end him now, Earth will burn in a fire we did not start." Far below, in the dark tunnels under Antarctica, humans were planning something they had never done before. An attack. A real one. Not just escape. Not just defense. War.Cade stood in a cold room filled with old maps, broken tech, and whispers of fear. Beside him stood Drex, Lena, and Prometheus, whose voice came from the glowing cube on the wall. "We have a target," Prometheus said. "A small Varnock supply base. Weakly guarded. Hidden in the mountains. They think it is safe." Drex pointed at a red dot on the map. "It powers 5 collar zones. If we destroy it, thousands of humans will feel freedom again." Cade looked at the others. "Then we strike." 2 nights later, under a black sky with no moon, the small human team climbed through ice and snow. The cold cut through their clothes. But no one complained. They were quiet. Focused. Cade carried an old human rifle heavy, scratched but deadly. Lena carried the charging explosive device made from human and alien parts. Drex led the way. Scanning with a stolen Varnock scope, they reached the ridge. Below, the base glowed with blue lights. Varnock guards walked lazily around the edge. Machines hummed. "No one expected trouble," Cade whispered. "How many guards?" "6, Drex said. "Maybe more inside. We go in fast," Cade replied. "No fear, no mistakes." They waited. At exactly midnight, Prometheus activated a signal from orbit. It made the Varnock cameras freeze for 60 seconds. That was all the time they had. "Go," Drex shouted. The humans ran down the hill like ghosts, silent, fast, cold as the ice. Cade shot the first guard. The alien didn't even scream, just fell. Lena ducked under a glowing tower and placed the charge on the power core. The timer began. 2 minutes. Another alien turned and shouted, "Too late, Malik." It's one of the resistance fighters. Tackled it to the ground and crushed its throat. Alarms started to ring. Red lights flashed. "Move," Drex yelled. Back to the ridge. Cade fired at 2 more Varnock as they ran. One went down. The other ducked behind a wall. Shots flew past them. Blue plasma hit the snow and melted it instantly, but the humans kept moving. 50 seconds, Lena tripped Cade. Turned back, grabbed her hand, and pulled her up. 30 seconds. They reached the ridge. 10 seconds. The mountain shook as the charge exploded. A fireball rose into the sky. Blue lights died. The machines stopped humming. Cade looked back. The Varnock base was gone. They returned to the tunnels 3 days later, exhausted, bloody, but victorious. People clapped. Children hugged the fighters. Old men cried. For the first time in many years, humans had hit back. Prometheus's voice echoed in the command room. The Varnock will now know fear. In space, Captain Jorok roared in rage. "Fools," he shouted at his officers. "You said they were broken. You said they were controlled." One of his men trembled. "This was unexpected. We will find the rebels, we swear." Jorok turned to a large screen. The map of Earth glowed red. "Then begin the hunt," he growled. "Burn every place they might hide. Bring me the boy." Back in the tunnels, Lena worked on building better weapons. Drex trained new fighters. The resistance was growing, but Cade sat alone in a dark room, staring at a small photo, his mother and father. Before the invasion, he whispered, "We're fighting back now. I wish you could see it." Prometheus spoke from the wall. "They would be proud, Cade. But this is only the beginning. The Varnock will come harder. and they will come soon. Cade stood up, his eyes cold. Let them come. Away, a single Varnock soldier limped through the snow. He had survived the attack. His face was burned, his armor broken. He reached a communication tower and sent a message. Back to the fleet, only 3 words. They have fire. The Varnock flagship Carzel floated above Earth like a god watching over Antstad inside. Captain Jorak stood before a tall glass screen. His red eyes glowed with anger. He stared at Earth so small, so blue, and now so dangerous. They dare strike us, he hissed. We gave them order, control, and they repay us with flames. Behind him, Admiral Silex entered the chamber. Humans have grown bold, Silex said. There is a name among the rebels now. A boy. Cade Jorek growled. Find him. Pick him. But Sir Silex lowered his voice. I must warn you. Other Varnock commanders are uneasy. They question our rule here. Jorok turned sharply. Let them question. I will give them silence. Back on Earth, in the resistance tunnels, Cade stood with Lena and Drex. Prometheus's blue light glowed across the dusty walls. The enemy is angry, Prometheus said, but their weakness is pride, and we will use it. Lena adjusted a small satellite dish on the table. This, she said, is our next weapon. It's a transmitter. We'll send a signal up, into their orbit, into their systems. You're going to hack them? Cade asked. Lena nodded. Not fully, but enough to steal a message. Maybe a location, maybe a secret. Drex crossed his arms. It's risky. They'll trace it back. Prometheus's voice was calm. Then let them come. We need to know what they're hiding. High above, on the edge of Earth's orbit, an old Varnock relay station floated. Alone? It was quiet. Empty, at least. That's what everyone believed inside. A single Varnock technician named Torvak sat at his console. He was young, nervous, and tired of war. He had seen the footage. Humans breaking collars, burning Varnock stations, fighting back. Something inside him stirred. Doubt that night. Lena activated the transmitter. A signal shot upward through the clouds, past the Varnock scanners, and reached the old station. Torvak saw the alert, an unauthorized message. He was about to delete it, but then he hesitated. Incoming file. Origin, Earth. Source, unknown. He opened it. What he saw made his cold skin crawl. Images of free humans, of Cade, of the explosion at the mountain station, and one line of human code. You are not gods. We are not your slaves. Torvak trembled. He looked around. No one was watching. And then he made a choice. He copied a file, a Varnock file. He sent it back, down to Earth. In the tunnels, Lena gasped. Something's coming back. The signal returned in seconds. Cade leaned over her shoulder. What is it? Lena clicked through the data, maps, Varnock troop numbers, patrol routes, and then something strange. A ship, not Varnock. Not human. Old, hidden, floating near Saturn's rings. Prometheus went silent for a full 10 seconds. Then it spoke. This is impossible. What is it? Drex asked. That ship is not Varnock. It is human. Everyone froze. What do you mean? Cade asked slowly. Prometheus's voice grew heavier. A colony ship. From Earth's past, from before the invasion, it was lost during the first attack. We thought it was destroyed. Lena looked at the file. But it's still out there. Yes, Prometheus confirmed. Sleeping. In deep freeze. Thousands of humans. Still alive. The room fell silent. Then Drex spoke. If we wake them, they'll join us. Cade finished. More soldiers, more fire. Prometheus spoke again. But be warned, the Varnock know of it. This file was marked high threat. If they reach it before us, they'll destroy it, Lena said. Cade stood, his voice steady. Then, we reach it first. But they weren't the only ones reading that file. High in the orbiting command ship, Torvik's betrayal had been discovered. Captain Jorok stood over the young technician's body. His blood spilled across the floor. "You should have stayed loyal," Shorak whispered. Silex stepped forward. "Should we alert the council?" Shorak shook his head. "No, we handle this ourselves. Ready the fleet. Set course for Saturn." Act. On Earth, Cade, Lena, Drex, and a small team entered the launch by a hidden hangar deep inside a forgotten mountain base. Covered in dust sat an old human shuttle, its wings broken, engine cold. "It can fly?" Cade asked. Lena smirked. "If I fix it in 3 days." "Yes." Drex looked at the stars through the broken hangar window. "Then hurry, because something tells me we're not the only ones heading." There, above Saturn's rings, the lost ship slept, its name still glowing faintly on the side. Eden 1 inside, frozen in time. 12,000 human lives waited. In silence, waiting for someone to wake them. Waiting for the fire to return. The old shuttle shook as it lifted from the snowy mountain base. Smoke coughed from its engines. Lights flickered. But it flew. Cade sat in the front seat beside Lena, who was holding the controls tightly. "I can't believe it's flying." Cade said. Lena grinned. "Neither can I. Let's hope it keeps flying till Saturn." Behind them, Drex and 2 resistance fighters checked weapons. Food, oxygen packs. They were heading to Eden 1, the lost human colony ship near Saturn. 12,000 lives were sleeping on that ship if they reached it first. They could wake an army. If the Varnak got there first, they would destroy everything in orbit. 3 massive Varnak warships broke away from the Earth fleet. Captain Jorok stood on the bridge of the lead ship, his fists clenched behind his back. "Set course." "To Saturn," he growled. "No mercy, no delays." Admiral Silex stepped forward. "Shall we prepare ground teams?" Shorak shook his head. "We won't land. We'll blow it out of the sky." "But the humans aboard, they are old, frozen, useless." Shorak spat. "Their death is better than their return." Back in space, Cade's shuttle flew silently through the darkness. For the first time, he saw Earth from a distance. So small, so fragile. Lena looked at him, nervous. He nodded a little. "We've never gone this far." Drex leaned forward. "We've also never had this much to win." Hours passed. Prometheus's voice came through the ship's old speaker. "I've accessed the old Eden systems. They're still functional, barely, but there is a problem." "What now?" Cade asked. "The Varnak are moving faster than expected. They will arrive 10 hours before you." The room went silent. "We're too late," one fighter said. "No," Cade said quietly. "We'll find another way." Suddenly an alert beeped. Lena checked. The screen? "Something's approaching." Small blinking dot appeared on the radar, moving fast. Varnak scout drone. She shouted. Drex grabbed a rail. "Brace yourselves!" The drone fired. The shuttle rocked as plasma grazed the left wing. Metal screamed. Lena fought the controls. "We can't outrun it." Cade jumped from his seat, opened a panel, and grabbed an old manual turret handle. "I'll shoot it down," he said. The hatch opened. Cold space air rushed in. Cade aimed. "Breathe in. Breathe out." The drone came closer, charging for a final strike. Cade pulled the trigger. Boom. The drone exploded in a silent flash of light. Cheers filled the cabin, but Prometheus's voice returned. Calm, but urgent. "Now they know you're coming. They will be ready." On the Varnak ship, Shorak read the scout's last signal. "The rebels are coming," Psylocke said. "They're heading to Eden." Shorak smiled cruelly. "Then let's welcome them with fire." As the shuttle approached Saturn, Eden 1 appeared like a sleeping whale floating in silence. The human ship was old, rusted but still beautiful, a symbol of what once was. Lena gasped. "It's real." Prometheus whispered through the speaker. 12,000 lives. Still inside. Waiting. Cade looked at the black void around them. "Where's the Varnak?" "They're not here yet," Drex said. "Then we move." They landed on the edge of Eden 1. The doors opened with a hiss. Inside, everything was frozen. Walls covered in ice. lights blinking weakly. Rows of cryopods lined the chambers. Humans inside, peaceful, silent, unaware of the war outside. Lena ran to a control panel. The systems are working. Barely. I can start the wake-up process, but it'll take time. How long? Kate asked. 4 hours? Drex grunted. That's longer than we have. Suddenly Prometheus's voice broke through. Enemy ships detected? They've arrived. Red lights flashed. Get to cover, Kate shouted. The floor shook as plasma blasts hit Eden's hull. Jorak's ships had started the attack. Outside, the Varnock fleet circled Eden 1 like wolves. Stood on his command bridge. Open full fire, he ordered. But sir, the human shuttle is docked. I don't care. Inside Eden, alarms blared. Shields are failing. Lena shouted, Directs returned fire from a broken defense turret. We won't survive a full hit. Cade turned to Prometheus. Can we send a signal? Yes, but what kind? Cade paused. Then his eyes widened. Call every rebel cell. Every fighter. Everyone. Tell them Eden is under attack. Across Earth's orbit, hidden satellites lit up. Across Mars, abandoned human mining colonies blinked to life. Across Jupiter's moons, old resistance radios crackled. Prometheus's message echoed, This is Eden 1. The future of humanity is under attack. We need help. Come now, or lose everything. As Cade fired at the Varnock boarding drones, he whispered to himself, We hold the line. He looked down the hallway, where the cryopods slowly began to open. The old world was waking up, and the new war had begun. The cryopods hissed open one by one. Cold air poured out. Lights flickered. For the first time in 100 years, people inside Eden 1 began to breathe again. A woman opened her eyes, then a man, then dozens, then hundreds, frozen warriors of Earth's past. Waking up to a war they never knew had continued without them. Cade stood by the control room, breathing hard. Plasma fire shook the ship again. Lena, how many are awake? 200 so far, she answered. But more are coming, every minute. He looked out the cracked window. The Varnock warships were still firing. Drex fired back from a mounted turret. They're sending drones again. Cade turned to a tall man walking out of the cryo chamber, his body shaking from the cold, but his eyes full of fire. What year is it? The man asked. About 90 years after Earth fell, Cade replied. The man paused. And we're still alive? Barely, Cade said. But we're fighting back. The man smiled. I was a commander once, on the colony ships. My name's Juno. What do you need? Cade smiled back. Soldiers. Within minutes, the cryo-humans, tired, weak, but burning with rage, began to move. Juno, now dressed in armor taken from storage, climbed to the front of the chamber. Listen up, shouted. The Varnock took Earth. They hunted our people. They erased our names. But now we rise. The crowd roared. We are the forgotten, he continued. But today, we make them remember us. Meanwhile, on the Varnock flagship, Jorak watched the humans gathering inside Eden. He frowned. They're waking. Chip wasn't dead after all. Admiral Silax spoke quietly. Perhaps we should back off. Regroup. Jorak turned sharply. Cowards, regroup. We conquer. But sir, send boarding teams. Jorak growled. I want their leaders dead. Now. Inside Eden, Cade looked at Lena. How much time before full awakening? Another 2 hours, she said. If the systems hold. Cade nodded. Then we buy them that time. He turned to Juno and Drex. We hold the hangar. If the Varnock land, we stop them there. Juno grinned. Let's show them what old humans can still do. The Varnock dropships came fast, black and silent, cutting through. Saturn's golden light 3 slammed into Eden 1's hull. Metal screeched. Doors blew open, and the Varnocks stormed in. They expected resistance. They did not expect warriors waiting for them. Juno and Drex led the charge. Guns blazing, the hallway became fire and screams. Varnock soldiers were pushed back step by step. They tried to regroup, but humans fought like beasts. not for power, not for land. But for home, Cade fought alongside them, shoulder to shoulder with men and women who had slept for nearly a century. They moved like ghosts, like history refusing to die. He shot a Varnock, who tried to flank Drex, and helped a wounded fighter too. Cover blood splashed the walls. Still, they didn't retreat in the cryo chamber. Lena kept the systems running, sweat pouring down her face. Prometheus's voice echoed from the wall. Multiple systems failing. Energy low, core overheating. "No," she shouted. "Just hold on," Prometheus whispered. "They are awakening. They are remembering who they were." Lena looked at the pods. More were opening. Children, scientists, soldiers, pilots. Humanity was returning. Back in the hangar, Juno tackled the Varnock to the ground and stabbed it with a metal rod. He stood, bleeding, laughing. "They forgot what humans can do," he said. Cade wiped blood from his face. "Let's make them remember." Suddenly, a loud sound rang through Eden. A massive, cracked then silence. Everyone stopped, even the Varnock, anew. Pod had opened. Out stepped a woman in black armor. She didn't speak. She walked forward, slow and steady. Then Prometheus spoke. Subject: Commander Lyra Stone, leader of the Eden Exodus Fleet. Presumed dead. Status: active. Juno's mouth dropped open. "That's the one who saved the last ships during Earth's fall." Cade stared. Commander Lyra looked at the battlefield. "Report," she said. Cade stepped forward. "We're under attack. Earth is still under Varnock control. We're the resistance now." Lyra nodded slowly. "Then I guess I'm back in command." The Varnock flagship. Alarm screamed. Shorak watched the chaos. Slox approached him carefully. The boarding teams had failed. Shorak's eyes twitched. "Then we bombed the ship." "But the sleeping humans silence," Shorak growled. "Let their screams fuel our victory." He turned to his crew. "Charge the plasma core." Inside Eden, Prometheus's voice changed. Urgent. Sharp. "Enemy ships preparing full energy strike. Ship will not survive without shield boost." Cade turned to Lyra. "Can we block it?" She smiled. "Better." He returned fire. She ran toward the ancient weapon controls built into the heart of Eden's core. Lena followed. "The main cannon hasn't been used in 100 years. Lyra flipped switches like a master. "It's about to be." As the Varnock charged their final blast, Eden's nose pointed upward. Its hidden cannon slid from the hull. Prometheus announced. "Target locked." Cade watched the screen. Lyra whispered. "For Earth." She fired. A white beam shot through space. It struck Jorak's ship dead. Center. The screen turned white. Then, silence. The Varnock flagship exploded. Onboard Eden 1, cheers rose. Eden 1 floated in the shadow of Saturn, its metal body glowing with heat from the recent battle. Smoke still rose from broken panels. Sparks danced along the hallway walls. But inside, something had changed. Hope had returned. Commander Lyra stood. At the central deck, eyes on the holographic map of the solar system. "Earth is calling," she said. Cade, Drex, and Lena stood behind her, silent. They all knew what this meant. Going back to Earth wasn't just a mission. It was war. The Varnock still controlled Earth's orbit, cities, skies. But after the explosion of Jorak's flagship there, fear had begun. They had seen what Eden 1 could do, and now the humans were coming home. Juno walked in, his arm in a sling, but eyes still sharp. "We've counted over 3,000 people now awake," he said, "and more every hour." Lyra nodded. "How many are ready to fight?" "Over 1,000, Juno said. "The rest are preparing." Lena added, "We still have old fighters, drones, and one massive cannon." Drex grinned. Enough for a very loud hello. Prometheus's voice came softly through the speakers. "Long-range scan shows Varnock reinforcements incoming. It's from deep space. Time: 18 hours. Cade frowned. "They're calling for backup." Lyra leaned closer to the map. Then we hit Earth before they arrive. The decision was made. Eden 1 would fly to Earth, and the Forgotten would strike first in the engineering bay. Lena worked with a team of awakened scientists. They restored fuel lines, cleaned out old tech, repaired flight systems. One of them, an old woman named Dr. Yen, smiled gently. "I designed Eden's engines when I was 27, she said. "Never thought I'd fly in her again." Lena looked up. "Well, time to see if your design still works." On the training floor, Drex and Juno trained the new army. Young and old humans lifted rifles, practiced movement, learned Varnock weaknesses. They were tired. Some barely recovered from cryosleep, but their hearts burned like fire. Drex raised a hand. "This isn't just for Earth," he shouted. "This is for our brothers, our homes, our future." They roared back. "For Earth." Command Center Cade stared at a screen showing Earth from far away. He hadn't seen it in person. Only in pictures. Blue, green, beautiful, and under enemy control. Lyra walked in, thinking about the risk. She asked. He nodded. "Might not make it." She smiled. "We will." As Eden 1 prepared for flight, Prometheus spoke again. "I'll tipple." "Human signals responding to our last message. Rebel fleets from Mars, Titan, Europa, they are coming." Juno laughed. "Looks like the family's coming home." Eden 1 began to move. Engines lit with thunder. Saturn's rings blurred behind them. The ship flew toward Earth, surrounded by silence and stars. But they weren't alone, Prometheus warned. 3 Varnock ships between us and Earth, heavily armed. They will not let us pass. Lyra stood up. Then we break through. The first Varnock ship appeared within hours. It opened fire before Eden even entered full range. Plasma blasts flew across the void. One hit Eden's left side. Sparks burst from the hallway. Lena shouted from engineering, shields holding butt. Not for long. Cade ran to the side turret. Then we hit back. Commander Lyra gave the order, target their engines. Fire main cannon. The giant beam burst from Eden's underbelly. It tore through space and hit its target. Boom. The Varnock ship exploded into flame. But the second ship was already closing in the hangars. Drex and Juno led a squad of fighters into small combat pods, old human attack ships, still working after decades. They launched into space. Flying like wasps around Eden, lasers flashed. Missiles locked on. The battle turned into a storm of fire. One fighter screamed through Eden's hallway. "We're losing power." "They're everywhere." Lyra kept calm. "Hold the line. We're almost through." Cade's turret overheated. Ripped off his gloves, hands shaking. "We can't take another direct hit." Lena screamed from the speaker, "The engine's overheating. Either we drop power or we explode." Lyra thought for only a second. "Drop shields. Push engines to max." Everyone froze. "What?" Cade shouted. "We'll take a hit," Lyra said. "But we'll reach Earth before they can stop us." Order was followed. Shields dropped. Engines roared. Eden 1 burst forward like a comet. The Varnock ships fired again. Explosions hit the side. Panels blew open. Alarms screamed, but Eden kept flying, faster, brighter, toward Earth. Finally, the blue planet appeared large on the main screen, Prometheus whispered, entering Earth's orbit in 60 seconds. In the distance, Earth's skies lit up. Resistance ships from Mars, Titan, Europa, all arrived at once. Hundreds of small vessels, all flying the same symbol, the old Earth crest. Humanity was uniting. The galaxy had tried to erase them, but now they were returning home together. Inside Eden 1, Commander Lyra stood tall. "Send a message to all ships," she said. Cade nodded. "What message?" "Earth is ours. Take it back." The skies of Earth were no longer silent. From every corner of space, human ships flew in formation. From Mars, Europa, Titan, from hidden colonies and secret stations, they came with weapons. With fire and with rage, Eden 1 led the front. Its battle-scarred hull glowed with heat as it entered Earth's orbit. Inside, Commander Lyra stood at the helm. Her voice echoed through every speaker. Today, we take our planet back. Below, the Varnak still ruled. Massive towers covered Earth's surface. Cities once filled with human life were now gray fortresses. Slaves still worked the mines. Camps still echoed with pain. But in the sky, freedom was coming. Cade, Drex, Lena, Juno all stood ready in the drop bay. Behind them stood hundreds of soldiers, old warriors, cryo-survivors, young rebels, all of them armed, all of them burning with purpose. Lena looked around. This is it. Cade nodded. No turning back. Now, Juno grinned. Let's kick the door off its hinges. Eden 1 opened its launch doors. Dropships blasted down toward Earth's surface, each one glowing red as they cut through the atmosphere. Inside one of them, Lyra checked her rifle. No more chains, she whispered. The Varnoks saw them coming. Sirens screamed across their towers. Cannons turned skyward. Explosions lit up the clouds, but the humans kept. It's coming fast, fearless like falling stars full of vengeance. The first wave hit the ground near what used to be New York. The city was now a Varnok fortress. Until that moment, Cade's dropship slammed into the landing zone. He jumped out, firing. Drex followed. Tearing through the first alien patrol, Juno's team flanked from the left. Within minutes, the first tower fell, all across the planet. The same thing happened. Rebel ships dropped from orbit. Humans fought like lightning, freeing camps, taking weapons, crushing Varnok outposts. People once thought lost came out of hiding. Old men with scars, women with fire in their eyes, children who had never seen a free sky. They picked up weapons and joined the fight in the heart of Earth. The Varnok overlord stood inside the command spire. He watched the chaos on the monitors. One of his guards spoke. Voice shaking, sir? Humans are everywhere. Our outer walls have fallen. The overlord's voice was cold. Then burn the cities, but the slaves, they are already broken. High above, Prometheus spoke to Eden 1. Enemy preparing full planet bombardment. They will destroy everything. Lyra stared at the earth below. She clenched her fists. Not today, she turned to Lena. How long until cannon recharge? 2 minutes, Lena shouted. We won't have 2 minutes, Cade said. Lyra made her choice. Take Eden 1 down. Eden 1 tilted forward. Its engines roared. The great ship, once a tomb, now flew like a spear toward Earth. Varnok anti-air. Weapons fired. Some hit. Panels tore open. Flames danced on the hull. Still, Eden 1 kept going, at the center of the battlefield. The Varnik overlord stepped outside his tower. Dozens of guards surrounded him. He raised a massive pulse weapon. Let them come, he growled. They will bow. But Eden 1 didn't stop. It came down like thunder and landed right on top of the tower. The ground shook. The tower exploded. Smoke and dust covered the field. When it cleared, Lyra walked out of the smoke, gun in hand. Behind her came soldiers. From every era, from its golden days, from its darkest hours, all walking together toward the Varnok. The overlord raised his weapon. You are dust. Broken things were meant to serve. Lyra didn't blink. She aimed. No, we were meant to rise. She fired. The overlord fell. His guards ran. The rest of the battlefield froze. Then, the flag of Earth rose again. Across the planet, the same thing happened. Towers fell. Varnik screamed. Slaves became warriors, and the sky was filled with the sound of human voices. We are home. Hours later, as the sun rose over a free Earth, the surviving humans gathered. On the broken field where the final tower once stood, Lyra placed something. On the ground, a stone, taken from Eden One's memory vault. Carved into it were 5 words: never again. Never beneath anyone. Juno turned to Cade. We did it. Cade smiled. We're just getting started, Ina added. The galaxy watched us fall. Drex laughed. Now they'll watch us rule. In orbit, Prometheus sent one final message. To the stars, this planet belongs to its people again. If you come with chains, be ready to leave in ash. The war was over. The chains had fallen. Earth was free, and humanity now ruled the stars. The end.